Let's just talk about where we are right now, Rob G. I have you break it down. The latest with the potential, you got to report that don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's not crazy for there to be a situation where Caleb might get benched.
Yeah, which is crazy because the person who said it is not a guy like me who's, watching from afar. It's not a guy like you who's watching from afar. It is a guy who's in the building every single day. Bears beat reporter Dan Wiederer of The Athletic did an interview in Chicago on Monday, and he was talking about the situation with the team, more specifically as it relates to the Ben Johnson-Caleb Williams marriage, which publicly from the outside looking in doesn't seem great, but we're not there every day. We don't know for sure. During the conversation, Wiederer said something that really blew people's minds. And here's what he said, quote, "I don't think this head coach is just going to sit around on his hands and go, we're just going to give Caleb forever to meet and reach the checkpoints we've set out for him. And so because you now have a QB2 in Tyson Bagent that everyone in the building believes in and continues to show significant progress from where he was 2+ years ago when he walked into the building, that conversation, talking about going from Williams to Bagent, isn't one that Chicago should be scared of." The idea, again, to summarize, the idea is what he's saying. The idea that the Bears could have a quarterback controversy in year one of the Ben Johnson era. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Your thoughts?
All right, so here's why I want to break this down. You have a coach in Ben Johnson who is a first-timer. In the NFL, which stands for a couple of things, the No Fun League, but also known as the Not For Long League, especially for coaches. And Ben Johnson is coming to a situation where he inherits a Heisman Trophy winner who everybody said he is the next thing since Andrew Luck, and the talent is there, clearly to the tune of a Heisman, but also we've just been able to see he makes some throws. He's able to run. You're like, man, the talent is there. We have to work on the intangibles and the other things. But I think this is why this is either going to work or could be volatile. Because if you got the guy in Ben Johnson who can extract the most from Caleb, who can expect the most from Caleb, who can say, yeah, I know you can do all that. The Sandlot, backyard football, you've got that. You've been able to do that since probably Pop Warner, all the way up to high school to college and now in the pros. That doesn't work like that. Now, the issue is you pair the two, improvisation, making stuff happen, Superman kind of guy, with a system, timing, precision guy. So they either got to find a way to meet leaning towards the middle, maybe a little bit more towards Ben Johnson, or it's just not going to work. Because this is what Ben Johnson had been dealing with. You know what Jared Goff's completion percentage was last year?
What was it?
72.4.
Wow. For
the season. Not a game, not a division, not a play. 72.4. Before that, 67, 65, 67, 67. So my point is, he's used to, and more importantly than just the completion percentage, it's the timing, it's the precision. And you know what the beauty of knowing your weaknesses are? You know what you can and can't do, right?
Yep.
Jared Goff knows if this play doesn't work, he's got that old school Peyton Manning. What is that? Remember, Peyton will just fall before you can even hit me. Height, boom, 1, 2. Oh, he's not, drop. You're not even going to sack me. You're not going to put your hands on me. Next play.
Yep.
Jared Goff is built like that. Precision, timing, who's open, accuracy. Okay, get it out. Boom, let's move on. Let's go. And that was how that offense ran. Ben Johnson ran a top 5 offense for his entire time with the Lions. Number 1 last year in offense. So what I'm saying is he's used to a certain way. And I think there's a level of frustration. And he's also used to a guy in Jared Goff who had been what? Cast off. Yeah, you got us to a Super Bowl, but it wasn't you. It was us. We're good enough without you. Go, get out of here. Go to Detroit. Some people will call the depths of hell in NFL, right? And he had a bounce back, no, I'm going to prove you wrong attitude. Already a veteran, something to prove. And again, now he has a different type of skill set than Caleb. And I think Ben Johnson, he looks at the backup and he says, I mean, I don't want to go there, but that's more what I'm used to. If this is weird science, shout out to the movie in the 80s, and I'm building something, it looks a little bit more like that because that's what I'm used to. That's what I can work with. And I have to break 23-year-old habits with you of you being able to do what you do to the tune of a Heisman so you think it's the right way to do it.
Yep.
And I have to try to break that. And I think he's frustrated with them not breaking the huddle fast enough. We know that. I think he's frustrated with how bad they looked this last preseason game. And he's like, dude, this is our third game.
We're down 17-0 before we got a sweat going on.
Exactly. This is our third game. I think he's frustrated with the inaccuracy. We talked about it. They had hoop shorts and T-shirts, and you're going 5 for 17. And I think there's a level of him that says also the reason I brought up the NFL not for long, I'm not going to sit up here and we go 4-13, 5-12, and don't look good, and everybody blaming it on me, and it looks bad, because I'm not a former number one pick in a Heisman where I might get another year or two. We got to make it work. That was our pick. They might let me go quick.
Right.
We know that. You can be successful and you can be coach of the year in sports and get fired the next season.
It's happened.
It happens.
You can win a Super Bowl and 2 years later you're out of a job.
Exactly. So I think he is just why he's just saying, look, man, get it right. And for him to say it publicly, I don't want to make the same, as he said, as long as we're heading the right directions and not making the same mistakes twice, I think he's trying to do some Zen Master Phil Jackson Jedi mind trick. Hey, Caleb, get it right, brother, because I got a guy just got a deal, 2-year, $10 million.
Which is a good amount for a backup.
For a backup, yeah, especially a backup who's not like Jameis Winston. You can get it. We're used to that.
Exactly.
He's been here for a long time. Jacoby Brissett, those kind of guys.
Sure.
He's not that. So I understand it, and I think their styles, they're going to have to find a way to meet in the middle, leaning more towards Ben Johnson. Otherwise, I could just see him saying, man, I can't deal with this, the more remedial issues.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And it's well documented. You can check my Twitter out at the producer RG that I am not a big Caleb Williams fan. I just don't believe that his style of football necessarily translates to most NFL teams. There are exceptions. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, had a quarterback coach or a head coach, in Andy Reid, who was willing to let him do the backyard stuff, but then he'd reel him in, right?
Yep.
But for the most part, if you look at a lot of these most successful coaches, Sean McVay, Ben Johnson is one, Kyle Shanahan, they're the type where it's like, no, my system, run my system. It works. Trust me. It's like Novocaine.
Mm-hmm.
Give it time. It's going to work. As long as you do what I tell you to do, we're going to be successful. And that's not necessarily the way that Caleb Williams plays. Even with that said, I'm with you in the sense that if this goes sideways, I don't believe it's going to be because of him. It's going to be because, as you mentioned, Ben Johnson, again, it's only the preseason, it's only the offseason, it's only training camp, whatever. He has shown himself to be a little bit short-tempered. Mm-hmm. He has shown himself to be a little bit on edge all the time. He has shown himself, so far at least, to be unable to kind of connect to these guys as professionals, as personal men and women, on the staff.
Yep.
He is, like a lot of guys are historically, I was a play designer, a play caller. I'm in my little cave drawing up some really cool stuff. And I'm great with the X's and O's. I didn't necessarily have to worry about the timeouts. I didn't have to worry about the media. I didn't have to worry about all the things that come along with being a head football coach in the NFL. And because of that, as you mentioned, he wants things done a certain way. And what he wants is not at all what Caleb Williams does well. We mentioned the athletic quarterback tiers that came out a few weeks ago. And one of the reasons why, or actually the biggest reason why Caleb Williams was consistently in tier 3, despite being viewed as a generational prospect, here are the quotes. In terms of processing ability to get in the ball out of his hands, it was the worst we played against. Here's another one. Processing to me was alarming watching the tape. So I could totally see a scenario where, because we've already seen it this offseason, in preseason, and in training camp, Ben Johnson throws his offense off the field. Yep. Ben Johnson says, Luther Burden, you cannot work in with the first and second team because you didn't do this right. So I'm going to punish you in this regard. I could see a scenario just looking at their schedule. The first 5 games of the year, they got Vikings, Lions, Cowboys, Raiders, Commanders. Depending how you feel about them, there is a scenario where they start off 1-5, 2-4. And I could totally see a situation where Caleb Williams is in a game and he's going 9 for 21, or he's, 12 for 30, or whatever it is. He's having one of those games that young quarterbacks have all the time. It's not normally a cause for concern. It just happens. But maybe he's, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, or no touchdowns, 1 pick. He lost a fumble. He's been sacked a couple of times. Whatever it is, right? He's holding the ball too long. They're down big. The coach says, hey, it's not your day, Caleb. Don't worry about it. We don't want you to get hurt. let's throw in Tyson Bagent real quick. Let him finish this one off. We'll live to fight another day. And then Tyson Bagent, running the system that Ben Johnson knows and loves, comes in and leads them to a quick scoring drive. So instead of losing 31-0, they lose 31-10, whatever it is. And then next thing you know, we got a quarterback controversy because Ben Johnson didn't necessarily shut it down by saying, hey, Caleb's our guy. Or, man, it was great to see Tyson out there. He looked really good. He looked really comfortable. And again, it's not necessarily Caleb's fault because he's young and he's supposed to go through this kind of stuff. But the way Ben Johnson's wired, man, I could totally see a scenario where this not ends, but there's some rough patches there in Chicago.
Here's where I'll give some caution to Ben Johnson, though. This reminds me a little bit of the J.J. Redick. Guys who were so high-strung, and I watch so much film, you don't understand, don't you see it? Like, calm down. You know why Phil Jackson was great? Because he said, hey, Dennis Rodman, go to Vegas in the middle of season.
Right.
Blow off some steam.
That's what you need.
Oh, you mean just tonight? No. Miss games. Who does that, right? You look at Ben Johnson, where'd he come from? Detroit. Dan Campbell, more of the overarching coach. Right? I'm the whole, like, the ski. I'm not in the X's and O's. I'm the just modern, managing the temperament of the team.
Personalities.
The personalities. We kind of have my ethos, my vibe, my aura. That sometimes is a head coach. Head coach isn't always just, we're going to do it this way and high-strung. You look at Sean McVay. He's high-strung a bit, but he's also very much a player's coach. He's probably, I would imagine if we sat him right here, and I've heard him talk about it just living in L.A. a lot, he had to learn that balance of.
Mike Tomlin is one of those guys who, if you look at who he's had on his team and the fact that he was able to keep them together and get to the playoffs every year.
A great balance of.
Big Ben, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell on the same roster.
A great balance of expectations and holding you to a high standard, but also play. Hey, what's going on, man? How's everything? So Ben Johnson will have to learn that it ain't always about me just proving my point and who's right or wrong, and I'm going to say this in the media, especially when you don't have that equity, right? Mike Tomlin can do it. He's Mike Tomlin now at this point, right? Andy Reid he's Andy Reid. You do have to earn that, and especially in the time where they're like, Janet Jackson, what have you done for me? Like, who? I mean, I saw what you were doing with Detroit, but who are you? Ain't did nothing here.
It's like when you're throwing guys out of practice the first day, like what's the next step?
Right, and exactly, and I think you're trying to set a tone, but it's like, I don't know what your tone setting is, right? Man, who are you to set the, Bill Belichick could do that. We all would know what that meant.
Yep.
I don't know your stand. I don't know what you're trying to do.
So Bill Belichick came there with Super Bowl rings already to New England.
He did. As we were watching right now, I told you they got the 30 for 30 going. All right. So it will be very interesting to see this play out. But I think Caleb, they're in a position where if Caleb can just start to improve in those things, as he has a mastermind at it, but also Ben Johnson's going to have to practice patience more than he probably had to do the last 4 or 5 years with Jared Goff and a pro and a veteran who had a lot to prove coming from, being kind of outcast from the Rams, who wanted to bounce back and, prove them wrong. So